All right, welcome back to another video, guys. In this video, I just want to touch up on trend lines. So obviously, trend lines are present in markets, right? We can see that, an official trend line is formed after 3 taps. Your entry should be the 3rd tap. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, right? So trend line starts on 2nd tap, but it's not a real trend line till 3rd tap. And then we also need some sort of confluence on the other end, right? Whether that be like a support, or a QM, right? Okay, so we also have this, okay, and then we also need to make sure that our timeframes are aligned. Okay, so if we understand that, hey, we have let's say a daily objective above up here, okay, and let's say this was a H4 time frame, okay, it would make sense to complete, the storyline. Let's say this was a daily zone, daily to daily, and we have our H4 breaking out, and then we have, a trend line coming down into a QM. Like, those are a lot of stacking confluences. We never just take a trend line just because it's a trend line. So trend line, again, is a subjective thing, but it gives us an idea of a possible direction the market wants to go to. And the thing is, trend lines, they're a pattern, right? A trend line is simply a pattern. So, for example, let's go to H4. We can see a trend line here, right? Okay, we have 1, 2, you buy on the 3rd tap, and then this thing just runs, right? And it's a pattern, right? It doesn't mean that the price is moving because of a trend line. It just is a pattern. It's a sequence that happens over and over in the markets, over and over and over again, right? So we can play on those patterns that form. Okay, here we have another trend line. What's price do? It comes down, bounces. Okay, so you use the trend lines as a confluence because they are repeating patterns. Okay, so once you understand that it's not about the trend line, it's more of a confluence. There's nothing there, so you can see like how sometimes you're not going to get that pattern. It's just going to do whatever it wants to do. It almost came to it here. You can kind of see it. Maybe on a different broker, it actually came to the trend line here. So it's more of a confluence, but you need to have other things lined up with it. And depending on how you draw your trend lines, because like I said, it is subjective. If you're using the wicks, you should always use wicks. If you're using the body closure, you should always use the body closure. So for me, I just use the line chart and I use the closes. Okay, and that's what I stick to. I used to use the wicks, now I just use the body. So whatever it is that you choose to use, if you choose to use the wicks, always stick with the wicks. If you choose to use the body, stick with the body, and that's it. You don't need to complicate anything.